We're not the Three Musketeers, but together, the three of us make Mel in the middle, Andy to my right, Summer to my left, and we're ready to go with another thought-provoking question from Summer this time, or maybe not.
Could be.
It could be anybody. All I know is
could be you, Mel.
I don't know what's coming. So let's go ahead and jump right in.
We sent Mel on camp vacation, right?
And I would emphasize camp rather than vacation.
we sent Mel to camp, and so we missed last week.
Yeah.
Right, but we heard a lot from fans, Mel. We heard a lot of questions because the week before you went on camp, we did a follow-up. We did a little tiny segment at the beginning, which was a follow-up to the week before. And people were super excited about that because they were telling us, hey, Mel, we never get to hear the follow-ups, like how you applied things, right? What happened in the Mel in the Middles? What happened with the stuff where you said you were going to apply things, right? Mm-hmm. So I have a couple questions first. Mm-hmm. Or I have another question, right? The first question is, out of all these Mel in the Middles we've done, right, Mel? All of these different things, not expecting, you have no idea what's coming, so you've had no ability to go back and watch them or look at them or anything, right? But have there been any Mel in the Middles that have stuck out to you as, hey, look at this one I'm still chewing on, or I've chewed on it for a while, or like it changed my life in some way, shape, or form?
No, I haven't, but the one, again, that sticks out the most was when Summer showed up. I mean, that will be the one that I'm sure will be the most unique one of all.
Till Andy shows up.
Oh, yes!
He's like,
whoa!
No, I'm supposed to speak here today. What do you think about that?
Yeah, Mel, you scheduled me to speak. What? Why am I not speaking?
That would be so
If Mel showed up at our
God
church,
tells you go to Lakeview.
yeah, if Mel showed up at Lakeview on a Sunday, I probably would just probably say, I guess Mel's speaking today. Like, why else would he be there?
Yeah.
Right. So, Mel, I got a question.
Okay.
Story question, of course.
Okay.
You ready?
Okay.
All right. If you were teaching a kid how to speed walk, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And they're like, no, I want to speed walk. I want to be like you, right? And the first time they get out on the course to speed walk with you, they trip over a rock, right? Skin up their knees really, really bad. And they look up at you and they say, Mel, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this. I don't want to get hurt. I'm not doing it anymore. What would you say to them?
I would tell them at the National 10K back in the 1980s, I was in the front pack, and it was David Cummings and me and another guy. And as we were in the middle of the race, David Cummings hit the grate and went like face first into the pavement. He didn't quit. He got right back up and kept on going. So even those that are Olympic trial caliber have tripped and fallen on their face. Don't let it get to you. Get right back up. Keep going.
Mel. Mel.
Oh, Mel, I love you.
Mel, if a 40-year-old person...
Yeah.
Right, Mel? If a 40-year-old person were to be like, Mel, I really want to speed walk with you. I really, really want to speed walk, right? And they were to speed walk with you, and the same exact route caught their foot. They tripped, they fell, skinned up their knees, their arms, their legs, their face. Like, it was just a big, big, big mess, right? And they're laying on the ground, and they look up to you and say, Mel, I don't think I should be speed walking anymore. I don't think that I can do this. What would Pastor Mel tell them?
I think I would tell them the same exact story of David Cummings tripping over the great at the National 10K at Niagara Falls on the Robert Moses Parkway to let them know he's closer to your age at that time than probably a kid was that tripped and might have fallen.
So same story.
I think I would. Get back up. Keep right on going.
Yeah, right. So if a 60-year-old person came to you and said, Pastor Mel, I want to speed walk with you. Like, I really want to start speed walking with you, right? First of all, the minute they say, I really want to speed walk with you, what are you going to say to them?
Let's see. Let's take it slow. Let's take it slow.
Uh-huh.
Because by the time, you know what? I'm 60.
Yeah.
And I don't take it slow. Well, I should say this. I'm going much slower than I did even 10 years ago, especially 20 years ago. But I would say let's be patient. Let's work through the routine here.
Mm-hmm. So if an 80-year-old person comes up to you and says, Mel, I want to speed walk with you, what are you going to say to that 80-year-old?
I probably wouldn't do it near the grate on the Robert Moses Parkway where Dave Cummings tripped. But
But would you take them?
But I would take them. Yes, I think I would, especially on a nice, smooth surface like last week at Cattaraugus Camp. You wouldn't believe this newly paved road on my favorite course, one of my favorite courses. That would be good.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
It was a beautiful course. So you would have no reluctance in an 80-year-old going out and learning how to speed walk with you.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be worried about them falling or tripping or any of that stuff.
Now, if there was noticeable balance issues, I think I would be. But if the person, had a normal gait for 80 years old, solid footing, if he was like a Jim Michener, absolutely I would. For those of you who don't know who Jim Michener was, he was a guy in great shape, though no athlete.
So if they were in the shape that you're in,
just getting worse.
Right? If they were in the shape that you're in, would you have any qualms about them doing it?
No.
Not any.
No.
You wouldn't have them sit on the sideline, wouldn't have them sit out, wouldn't have them do any of that stuff. You'd be like, let's go, let's do this.
Yep.
Fantastic. So you want to ask the question or do you want me to?
What if it was softball?
Softball?
Yeah. What if they wanted to play softball? No.
I had the chance to play softball
You
once
did?
again at camp, and I turned it down.
No way.
Why, Mel?
Why would you do that?
Sorry, wait.
Let
me lean up a little bit because I'm getting older.
2 reasons.
What were the 2 reasons, Mel?
One, there were plenty of players on the field. It exceeded the limit of the normal 10 players on the field. You had like 13, 14. That's plenty. But you know what was in the back of my mind?
What, Mel?
I might get hurt.
Wait. It's because you didn't want to compromise your speed walking, right?
No, my speed golf game. That's what it was.
So Mel, the 80-year-old comes and says, hey, and as long as they're in good shape, you're saying, yep, let's do it.
Yes, because you don't have to worry about catching a hot throw from shortstop to first base. All you have to do is make sure your steps are in place. What if it was
frisbee golf? That's really dangerous, I hear. Throw a frisbee into a net, into a cage that's unmanned. And then you walk to the next cage and you throw another frisbee.
Oh, that's good. That's easy. Right. I would have them do that before speed walking. I would have them do frisbee golf before speed walking.
But what if they came up to you? What if an 80-year-old came up to you and said, I really, really want to play softball?
I would let him do it if he felt like, I want to do this. I want to do it.
You wouldn't have any of the...
I'd be like, let's play dodgeball.
You wouldn't have any of the worries, none of the worries that you had for yourself for the 80-year-old. You wouldn't sit down and tell them, "Hey, I'm a little worried about getting hurt. I'm a little worried about this or this or that." You wouldn't tell them any of those things, Mel.
I would assume that they know what they're getting into.
That they already know all of that.
Yeah.
Right? Mel, is there a chance that you getting out there and playing softball with a bunch of people that you're ministering to all week, you're taking care of all week, is there a chance that doing that would do exactly what the story you said about the guy who was speed walking and fell and got back up and kept going? Do you think that it could be inspirational for anybody to see Mel out there playing softball with no fear of having to catch a hot ball?
Yeah. Or the embarrassment of misjudging a fly ball.
But do you think that somebody could be inspired by Mel playing even if he misjudged the fly ball?
Or whiffing at bat for the first time ever in slow pitch softball. Oh, what embarrassment.
So Mel, what's the real story behind this whole thing?
Wait, I thought you were worried about getting hurt.
Well, that's number one.
Not really.
But also...
1A is
I'm secretly sucky at softball.
the embarrassment of whiffing at bat in softball.
He just threw you a curveball, didn't he?
No, he thought
it was all about him getting hurt.
I didn't. I knew what it was about from the beginning. Like, I'm trying to figure out how nicely to go about this and not make this look like I'm attacking Mel. So.
Isn't that what the show's about?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, Mel, when we
take out all of our aggression on Mel at the end of the day.
When we get to church, right? When we get to church stuff, and we have people who are older in nature, right? Where's the line when we start worrying about the things that you're talking about here, right? Right? Where we start looking at people and saying, we're worried that you're going to embarrass yourself, right? We're worried that you're going to get hurt. We're worried that you're going to... When somebody walks up to us and they say, I really want to do this. I really want to do this. When do we look at them and say, listen, Caleb and Joshua were 80 when they started the Promised Land, right?
Yeah.
And Caleb gets through the whole Promised Land thing, gets to the end, like, I feel really great. Can you just give me a couple cities to go attack and get for myself? Like he wants more. Like, let's fight some more.
Yeah.
Right. But we look at situations sometimes, don't we? And we start looking at those type of things for ourselves, which keeps us from doing stuff. Right. So here's the question that is pretty typical of Mel in the middle. Did you pray about playing softball?
No, I gotta admit, no, I didn't.
I was at camp, I didn't have to pray.
So if you were sitting there on the bench and the cutest little kid came up to you and said, Pastor Mel, will you play with us? What would you have said?
Oh man, now you throw a kid into it.
What if it was a cute little girl named Amber?
There was no Amber at camp, but
what if
I bet you that
the cute little
would have.
Yeah, she comes up and she grabs Pastor Mel by the hand and goes, "Come on, be on our team, Pastor Mel. We need you."
I know. I think I may have.
You may have gone through all the embarrassment. That's all it would have taken was the cute little kid.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, what if you were sitting there and you heard God say, Mel, play softball?
Well, that's interesting because if I would have taken that, as I was thinking about that, I gotta admit, I was thinking of my own father. Be wise. Don't do anything that would be considered unwise. And since I haven't been playing softball in years, I'm going to defer to the dad's side here.
What if God really impressed upon you to get out there and play?
I think I may have, yeah.
You would have gone out there and
Yeah.
I mean, all that other stuff wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
So how do we negotiate through all that? Right? Like it's real when we don't ask God. It's real when we're thinking like in human terms, right? But suddenly God says, Mel, get out there and play. Now, does none of that matter? Are you not worried about getting hurt? Are you not worried about getting embarrassed? Are you not? Well, why would that put you out there?
Yeah, because you're doing it for another person. You feel like you want to bless that other person. You want to do things for another person or others. And you set aside your own concerns, your own resistance to it. Yeah.
So why doesn't that kick in from the start?
Why doesn't that kick in from the start?
Because you're normal.
What?
Yeah, because you're
human.
Because you think. I mean, I was
Survival
thinking,
instinct.
why put another person out there on the field so that the batters are hitting into a 15-fielder playing field? That puts the disadvantage there for them on a field too, whose boundaries are a little more contracted than a regular softball field.
So is it possible that you were looking at the rules of typical softball, right? Mm-hmm. Which is 9 players on a team or whatever it is.
10
right?
for slow pitch.
Okay, 10 for slow pitch, right? But that's not the camp rules for softball.
That's true. That's not right.
I've never played camp softball where there's 10.
I know.
Always played camp softball where there's 20.
Exactly.
30, right? That's camp softball.
That's camp.
Oh, you're never getting a run on that.
So is it possible that you looked at it and forgot where you were playing softball?
Yeah.
Are you competitive, Mel?
I am.
Yeah.
I feel like I am because I did the 5K.
That makes sense.
I did the 5K on the Pat McGee Trail. And I ran.
You'd look at any of those things as like a real competition instead of just like for fun.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, that's not fair. They're like, we don't care.
So, Mel, how do we get to a place where we're looking at things differently, right? In camp softball, if you were to play, is it about playing softball or is it about inspiring people?
Yeah. I hear your point. I wasn't really thinking about inspiring people as I was thinking about I'm going to protect my body from potential injury that could impair my speed golf game.
So let me hopefully then Summer can take this over, right? Let me go back in time and revisit your favorite episode of Mel in the Middle, right? Summer got called to come to your church, right? There's 100 reasons why she could have said not to come.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
From Mel didn't ask me to come. I'm not speaking. I'm not doing any of those things, right? What was the purpose of Summer really coming there?
Because she felt led of the Lord to do it.
And what was
Definitely.
What's really, when she got there, did you ask her to speak?
No.
Right? Did you ask her to read scripture?
No.
Did you ask her to do anything in that service?
No.
So her entire reason to come down there was, we established last time, was to inspire you to do what you were supposed to do. Right? To
And it did.
encourage, right? So how in Christianity, how do we get to the point where we understand there's great value in that? It's not about playing softball sometimes, right? It's not about the wins, the losses, the rules, the batting, the catching, the embarrassment. It just simply is about inspiring other people to move on and go on.
Yeah.
Right? Your friend who fell, the guy who fell.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't about winning or losing after,
Yeah.
was it? It was just about finishing the race, being
Yes.
doing what he needed to do, and you use that story today.
Yeah.
All these years later.
Yep.
Right? That sometimes we're looking at a situation and we're getting caught up in the logistics of it, right? But really, God's just saying, I just need you to be present. I just need you to inspire people.
Yeah. Yeah. As an example,
Yep.
the pitcher, Glenn Sisson, has had a lot of injuries and repair. I mean, the body just isn't holding up like it used to. He's like 58 years old, and he pitched. And he pitched to his son, and his son hit a rocket line shot. It hit him right in the gut. And the mark was right there. And he had surgery not all that long ago in near that area.
Wow.
Yeah. Here Glenn put himself out there like that to play, and
You're like, and that's why I didn't.
that's why exactly. That's why. Oh man, I'm so glad I'm not pitching.
Like, what are the chances it would happen twice?
Yeah,
You'd be good. He got it instead of you.
because my reaction time isn't what it was.
Well, this is why I don't know. This is why I said during prayer, like, we spend so much. I've done it my whole life. We all do it. We just spend so much time thinking, like, how much time have you thought about that? And, like, then now today, how many ways have we dissected it and talked about it and thought about it when, like, we could just say, hey, God, do you want me to play softball?
Mm-hmm.
Yes or no? And I'll just wait.
Mm-hmm.
It's really easy to hear a yes or a no. You're not looking for a download. You're not looking for a sermon.
Yeah.
Just yes or no. And listen, God has told me, like, there was a time that he wanted me to come down here on a different day. And I was like, normally I'd be really happy about that. But I was like, God, I'm really tired. You've had me down there like 3 days in a row. I'm really tired. And he said, I'll give you strength. It was like, You're going. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Move along. And it's like every time that, like, if I was you and I sat there and I was worried about those things and I said, God, do you want me to play softball? And he said, yes. I wouldn't have just shot up and did it. I would have said, all right, God, then you're going to protect me, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm worried about. I would have got him to tell me yes. You know? Because, like, if he's telling you to do something, like, that for me, like, it just gives you freedom.
Yeah.
It gives you freedom and protection. And then, you know, like, even if something bad happens, like, it's going to be okay. Because, like, he told you to do it. So it's not like, you know, he's trying to wreck your day. Hey, yeah, go out there. I want to mess you up.
Yeah.
You know, like, so I don't know. For me, there's just a lot of freedom and a lot of time saved.
Mm-hmm.
And mental strife.
Yes.
And just asking.
And I feel like the episode you brought about with respect to coming down here on the days and the day you didn't want to.
Yeah.
And you came.
Yeah.
I bet you there was strength that was sufficient.
Oh,
for that
absolutely.
day.
Yeah, I got untired. Like, I got in the car and I was like, okay. I didn't think about it and dwell, and I was fine. And I went the whole day and
Yeah.
and it was fine.
Yeah.
But I was like, God, I'm tired. Like, really, I'm tired. Like, usually he's telling me the opposite. Rest, you know? And I'm like, what's the deal? I'm tired. He's like, I'll give you strength. The answer is no. Like, you're going. So...
Yeah.
But do you believe him? Like, did I believe I was going to be untired all of a sudden? I was like, well, yeah, I guess it's just going to work out. So, I did. It just went away.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
we look at it, the story about the pitcher, right? If the pitcher gets hit by the ball, crumples over, and has to be taken away in an ambulance, then how do we view that? He knew he had problems. He shouldn't have been out there, right? Like we look at that, right?
Oh, yeah, it's his fault.
If the pitcher goes out there and no ball ever comes near him, we're like, yay, God took care of him. Yay, it's a good thing, right? And if the pitcher gets hit and survives it and walks away, right? Then we're like, oh, look at what God, like we use it all differently, right? But the bottom line is God concerned about all of that? Or is he just concerned about, do you trust him, right? To go out there and pitch if that's what he tells you to do.
Yeah.
But we're concerned about all the other stuff all the time. And that's why I love what Summer says about, like, if God says yes, it doesn't mean you're not going out there and goofing up or embarrassing yourself or striking out or getting hit with the ball or, misjudging a fly ball. It doesn't mean any of that stuff.
Right.
It just means you're obedient.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah, and it'll be
Correct.
Okay. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. It's not like, a shocker. Like God can't handle it. Or I did that all the time when I was sick. Like I had that all the time. I was sick, and it was like I didn't know what I could do. I felt like I couldn't do anything. And if I just gave in to being sick, like you wouldn't have seen me for 6 months. Like literally, you wouldn't have seen me for 6 months, and I would just say, nope, I'm sick, I can't go anywhere. But every day, this is why I'm like this now. I'm convinced God used the whole sickness thing to get me to this point where like I had to ask God, like, can I do this? Am I going to survive this? Like, am I going to be able to drive that far? Am I going to be able to go here and not be sick? Like, can I do it? And like I had to trust that if he said go, that I was going to be okay.
Yep. Yep.
And there was certainly a breaking process in that, because then I remember one time he said yes, and I got in the car, and in my mind I'm creating the troubleshooting plan for when I get sick, where I'm going, and I'm like, oh Summer, you better stop, because you asked God and he said yes, and he said he would keep you. So is he or is he not? Don't even ask if you're going to do this. Don't even ask if you're going to make a backup plan for God, because you don't need a backup plan for God. So it was like, I don't know. I had to go through all that and figure it out. But you could do it in every scenario.
Yeah.
Whether you're sick or old or young or inexperienced or whatever.
Yeah. Wow. So it seemed like the whole softball thing was, notice how much the negative began to impact my mind. The negative of what if I strike out? The negative of what if I misjudge a pop fly? The negative of what if I get hit by the ball?
It's the same thing with the shoes. Like, why wouldn't you tell Summer, give the late, it's all the negative. Well, what if? Yeah. What if?
Yeah.
And the enemy just has us live in what if, and none of it ever happens.
I love it. We should write a book, What If Land.
What if land?
What if land,
What
Andy?
if
That's
Bill?
a great.
Do
What Ifville? Wow.
What Ifville is awesome.
What a great title for a book.
With Mayor Frontlesbury.
Mel, that's fantastic. That's great.
Wow. Well, we'll give you an update on that idea next time on Mel in the Middle. What if Bill? Oh, that's great.